What's up, everyone? You got Mind Circus here with you, and welcome to the first edition of On My Mind. This is the series where I take a look at some of the current events in Guild Wars 2 and MMOs in general, and give my thoughts and impressions. If you are new to Guild Wars 2, new to the channel, or just haven't done so yet, I am currently farming likes and subscribes in order to build the channel, and if you'd want to help me out by doing one of the aforementioned, that would be greatly appreciated. So, last week we finally got our big live stream reveal for End of Dragons. We got a solid look at some of the upcoming features, and we got to bathe in the hype for a while. So what I'm going to do is break down my thoughts on a few of the key reveals. I want to make it clear that I am very much bought in for End of Dragons, but really all ArenaNet would have to do is kind of give us a couple of new maps and some new elite specs, and I'd be into it. But that said, I'm not super bought into some of the hype around some of the new features, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. When they first announced Path of Fire, man, I don't remember ever having been so stoked for an MMO X-Pack. But you know what? My hype level for End of Dragons, I think I'm at about a 6.5 out of 10. So let's get started with the Siege Turtle. It looks like we're getting a 2-player co-op mount. I mean, don't I already have enough ways to carry people in this game? Look, ArenaNet has a really solid track record on mounts. The ones that have been delivered so far have been amazing. These are the absolute best mounts in all of MMOs, full stop. No other MMO comes close to the implementation of mounts in Guild Wars 2. I have little doubt that these will be pretty cool. But how is this co-op thing going to be implemented? The idea that one player is going to be doing combat while the other pilots the mount, mounted combat, this is a really interesting idea to me. But it really felt like they stopped short of that on the live stream. Is that what it's going to be? So that really is the question for me at this point. They really kind of used some careful language around that by saying, you know, you can take your friends places. And that is really where I kind of get off the bus. This whole idea that we would give new players without mounts some kind of free ride from their friends, it's a little repugnant to me. It builds these expectations for carrying that I think is a culture problem that already exists pretty hard in Guild Wars 2. So, with that said, not totally stoked about this mount yet. There is some opportunity for them to kind of save this one for me, though. Number 2, skiffs and fishing. Hey, you know what? I get that some people are really excited about this feature, but first off, I already have a skimmer. I already have a bunch of different skins for my skimmer. I don't need a boat that operates like a multi-person skimmer, and really, I don't like AFK activities in MMOs. Guild Wars 2, to me, has always successfully avoided these kind of passive time sinks better than most other games. It's been really successful without them, and it's never needed them before. So the idea that what this game really needed was some kind of system where I hit a button and wait for a reward while I socialize, it just doesn't work for me. I'm not excited. Hey, on the upside, it's not more underwater content. But you know what? They could have done player housing. I would have been a little bit more interested in that. That said, I'm not a big fan of that one either. Next, all new legendaries. So here's a big one that's causing some waves. Yeah, waves. See what I did there? So I see a lot of low effort shit posting on Reddit and the forums saying these are just a black lion set, but clearly they're not. The one weapon we saw was pretty impressive for what it was, but you know what? I've already made Exordium, and I won't be making the new greatsword. So it's one set of weapons. The upside is the expansion ships with an entire full set, and that's really, really a big win. But let's take a look at what that really means. Currently, the path to the precursor means you have to do half of the return to achievements, meaning the current revisiting content thing, where every week we're giving a new Living World episode to grind on with new achievements. And you know what? This is so much better than the last set of legendary weapons in terms of creating a journey towards the weapons. I mean, like miles better. The last bunch of legendaries were nothing more than an Elderwood and Mithril sink. There's no themed collection, there's no story to experience. The only thing legendary about these is the size of the material sink. But that said, you know, I wonder if ArenaNet really understands that for a large number of us, legendary crafting is quite literally the end game in Guild Wars 2, and that not going all in on this system really does the game a huge disservice. Legendary crafting increases engagement. It's probably one of the biggest factors fueling the economy. I really wish they understood this and acted like that, and I wish they made all the weapons distinct experiences, a lot like the Chuka and Chomp Wat collection. So, strike missions and CMs, hey, good move, great move, actually. Strike missions and the DRMs were actually the favorite part of mine for the Icebrood Saga. I really enjoyed them. They were fun, they were accessible, they created the quickest path to ascended armor in the game. The idea that the CMs, though, will keep the raid crowd happy? I mean, they better mean it. They really better mean it. If they ship this expansion after trying to sell the new strike missions as something that will keep the raiding crowd happy with this game, and then deliver like Shiver Peaks Pass with a few mechanics, well, they're going to be doing serious long-term damage to the profile of this game. Hey, look, new guild hall. Hey, the new guild hall looks nice, but the one thing that really stood out for me was Andrew Gray talking about the guild hall arena. I mean, do you not understand that if the arena uses PvE balance, it's of very little value? It's really important to point this out. Using world versus world or PvP balance in the guild hall arenas would make this an amazing feature and worth the very expensive upgrade path. But talking about the guild hall arena without this, it means you're just throwing us another feature without caring about who it's for or how it's going to be used. Highlight of the stream for me, the new Mesmer Elite spec they revealed. It absolutely looks amazing. I mean, it looks solid and powerful, but not broken on a fundamental design level like Scourge or Firebrand. I thought it was interesting that all the skills that they showed off were damage focused. It looks like a really fun elite, and I can't wait for it. I think Dagger on Mesmer is a no-brainer thematically. I'm super stoked to get my hands on this. The animations looked incredible, and it really just kind of sets a really nice high bar for the other elite specs. Finally, let me touch on the last thing. There was a whole bunch of lip service paid to World vs. World near the end of the stream by Grouch, and you know what? I'm sick of hearing it. You need to deliver something, anything to shake up World vs. World. Since I started playing it about 5 years ago, we've seen a mount, we've seen some changes to reward structures, and I guess we can count the changes to the Edge of the Mists arena, but really that's it. In 5 years, that is the sum total of major additions to the game mode. I like the mounts, I like the rewards, but it really is time for all the talking to end and for them to ship something meaningful, impactful, and fun to World vs. World. It really is one of the things that Guild Wars 2 does better than any other MMO. It's played by thousands of people every day despite not getting any love from the devs, so you know what? Give us something, anything, more than just calling it a pillar of the game. So all things considered, hey, it looks like a super solid expansion. All the map art and story bits they showed looked gorgeous and fantastic. Some of the features, though, leave me a little bit cold. The fishing and skiffs are of very little interest to me. The siege turtle looks okay, but I just don't think a way to solve player engagement is by letting one player tote another around the world complete. Strikes I love, but you know what? The studio really needs to show and prove with some real compelling difficulty for the high-end players via CMs. And really, that's about it. Those are my thoughts on the expansion reveal that we got last week. If you want to have your say, go ahead down in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. And at this point, I'm just going to thank you very much for watching. I am going to remind you to have fun in game and min-max your real life, and we will see you again in the mists.